What is up, you guys? Nick here. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Thanks for coming back if you're not. If we thought NEO couldn't get any more busy in terms of capital raises, news updates, unveilings, expansion plans in just 1 week's time, well, you were definitely wrong. NEO is relentlessly, and may I emphasize relentlessly, striving to increase their cash position. They are doing this in order to pad out their bottom line and scoop up as much market share as possible in as short a time as possible. If we know one thing, it's that the Chinese EV startup sphere is ultra competitive and oversaturated. There is only one way to win, and that's to build up a war chest and expand faster than any other company. Expand so fast that other companies didn't even have time to realize what was happening, and once they did, it was already too late. In this video, I want to discuss why analysts are yet again jumping all over NEO. I want to discuss their recent capital raise in convertible notes, and I want to then give an updated price prediction. We have a lot to get to in today's video, but before we do, Webull has improved their promo. They are now offering 4 free stocks worth up to $3,700. All you have to do is 1, sign up, 2, open an account, and 3, deposit in at least $100 using the link in my description. Guys, this is a no-brainer. Webull is a 0% commissions trading platform, and they offer some of the best analytics in the game in my point of view. I use this app every single day. Promo ends soon, don't sleep on it. I just started a Patreon page. I'm going to be posting all of my trades throughout 2021. I finished 2020 with over a 50% ROI. You don't want to miss that. The link is in the description if this interests you, and it's a way to support the channel. Help me out. This is a lot of work. I would really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. It'd mean a lot to me. Decimate the like button. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. Alright, so let's start off by talking about NEO's cash position. As you are probably more than aware, NEO recently performed 2 equity raises in the form of share dilutions throughout 2020. Investors were actually quite upset by this, but what you as an investor of a startup company needs to be fully aware of, needs to really understand, is that the landscape is fluid. If other companies are paving the way and realizing there is market sentiment and an environment to dilute shares, you can probably expect every single EV company will do so. We even saw the powerhouse Tesla, who has over a $20 billion cash position, recently dilute its shares. And what does this tell us? This tells us that the time is nigh for companies to gain as much ammunition, as much cash as possible to build up an incredibly large vault to then explode out of the gates and gobble up market. This is what NEO is currently doing. They already had over a $6 billion cash position, and just today, January 13th, announced the pricing of the $1.3 billion in convertible notes. Big name investor banks use a very eloquent and informative phrase when talking about these huge sums of cash and NEO's current cash position. It's something they call an absolute ton. Quick background for those who don't know what a senior convertible note is. It's essentially a debt security that takes priority. The notes convert into a predetermined amount of common stock or cash. NEO's convertible notes included 2 $650 million in note portions each. $650 million in notes due in 2026 and $650 million in notes due in 2027. Now what's more and very interesting is that the 2026 notes are senior unsecured notes, will not pay interest, and the principal amount will not accrete. The 2027 notes will pay interest rates of 0.50% per year. The holders of the notes may convert the 2026 notes anytime after August 1st, 2025, and the 2027 notes can be converted on or after August 1st, 2026 to cash, American Depository shares, or a combination of both. The initial conversion rate for notes to American Depository shares is the equivalent of shares trading at $93.06 per share. Now this is around 50% of their trading prices today. Not too bad, but for the record, I do think that in 5 or 6 years from now, NEO shares will be trading much higher than these values. The purchasers of the notes have the option to purchase an additional 100 million of 2026 notes, which are non-interest, and another 100 million of the 2027 notes. Interest will be payable semi-annually in arrears on February 1st and August 1st of each year beginning this August. Now I know a lot of investors actually panicked. However, this in my opinion is unwarranted. Companies who issue convertible notes is really common and an inexpensive fashion for startups to raise capital. Just remember that this money is being put to use. It's not like the company doesn't receive any benefit, and I think this is actually sometimes forgotten. Building and manufacturing a solid-state battery is by no means cheap. Building new sedans isn't cheap. Expanding into Europe isn't cheap. These things cost a lot of money, and NIO is staying ahead of the game. I know many of you weren't actually invested in NIO early in 2020 or following the company too closely, but I was, and let me tell you, it's much more comfortable having too much money and constantly raising this cash position in pretty much any means way possible than virtually what was a non-existent cash position. So what is NIO actually using these funds for? Why are they continually building their cash position? Well, for one, it absolutely never hurts to have too much cash. I think this goes without being said, but you know what? NIO has taken this to heart. NIO now has the strongest cash position in terms of the big three emerging EV Chinese companies, Li Auto, XPeng, and NIO. NIO is using these proceeds mainly for general corporate purposes and to further strengthen its cash position and balance sheet itself. Now, this is pretty vague, to be honest. I was hoping for a bit more transparency into this, especially after the lack of transparency of NIO Day. However, this is just how it goes sometimes. These proceeds are in stark contrast to its recent share dilution equity raise, where it cited fascinating developments in terms of their newest sedan and their continued manufacturing expansion plans, and really painted a nice picture of what the proceeds were going to. This, on the other hand, was pretty bland, cited for just, short-term corporate purposes, the costs of running a billion-dollar business. And I know some of you will inevitably say, well, why do they have to do this? Why can't they just generate money on their own? They're doomed, blah, blah, blah. I've heard it before. Remember, NIO is a startup company. This is exactly what startup companies do. They bet on themselves, they raise equity virtually every single way they can, and they worry about paying it back and their consequences of doing so later. Think of it this way. Would you rather have a boring company stay as risk-averse as possible, never dilute shares, never instill notes onto the market, never raise capital, and just slowly go bankrupt and die? Or for a company to aggressively raise capital, aggressively expand, and to do everything in their power to continue growing at a rapid and accelerating pace? I know I'd be choosing the latter. The only way to win in today's market is by being bold, fierce, and aggressive, and NIO, in my point of view, is doing all of these three things. Now, I also want to note how bullish some analysts continue to be. If you have watched my channel before, you will have heard me talk about Deutsche Bank's Edison Yu previously. He is very bullish on NIO and has reiterated his buy rating. Yu was blown away by the revealing of the ET7 and its specs. He's predicting that there will be a market in China of about 300,000 electric vehicles annually in the ET7 class. This would represent a market of about $20.4 billion annually, just for NIO's sedan. Now, obviously, NIO doesn't have 100% of the market, but it should be noted that they are rapidly increasing deliveries every single month. The Chinese consumer is moving towards smaller vehicles, especially sedans, and I do think NIO's ET7 will be a hit almost immediately out of the gates within China. NIO is also allowing for consumers to purchase upgrades in terms of autonomous driving. This will pad out NIO's alternative forms of revenue. This is essentially NIO selling their customers software on a subscription basis. This software can cost up to about $105 per month when customers choose to upgrade to L3 or L4 autonomous driving. I really do like this subscription service they continually use. It offers customers so much flexibility, and then again, with the battery as a service and national subsidy programs, they really are able to lower the barrier to entry point, and the pricing of the car can really come down to what you as a user wants. I am bullish on this company for so many reasons, and I am absolutely holding for the long term. Going to their chart, NIO was essentially flat on the day. I was actually quite surprised to see it trading so high off opening bell. People are really looking for any single reason to be bullish on this company right now. I wasn't sure how the market would react to this news, and I wasn't surprised to see it hone back into its almost flat day. I do think over the next week or so, we will hang around the $60 range. However, moving into Q4 earnings, I would expect a steadying surge. I do think they will have hit Q4 out of the ballpark, and I do think moving past Q4, shares will be trading in around the $70 to $80 range. I do indeed believe that closing at the year, we will touch triple digits. Now, if this corrects, it may, but I do think at some point we will see 3 digits. I really do believe this. This company has so much promise, is on fire right now, and in my point of view, making all the right moves. I'm really interested to see where their deliveries continue to go. This is essentially the hinge on their share price. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget about the Webull promo, 4 free stocks worth up to $3,700 for free. All you have to do is 1, sign up, 2, open an account, and 3, deposit in at least $100 using the link in my description. Smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. What are you guys doing? Are you buying, selling, holding? I'd like to know. Anyways, I will see you guys all in the next video. Take care. Happy trading. Cheers.